her daughter told her, like, Mom, people are saying the world is ending. And for some reason, like, and I know her daughter too. For some reason, that hit me different when she said it. The world war does sound like ultimate tragedy, but it's not. It's relative tragedy. And that tragedy creates the space for change.
We've been trying to figure out this world for so long, and we can't control it, so to speak, or we felt like we've gained a bit of control over it to the point to where now we can alter it.
You can't change the nature of reality, and also you wouldn't want to.
It's all vanity. I mean, at the end of the day, there's going to be, this is our turn on this piece of earth. And then when we're gone, it's somebody else's turn.
Yeah, we got to give it back. Everything we have, we got to give it back.
Yeah.
If you want to know what you can do most to help humanity in this time is to heal yourself.
Yo, what's happening? This is Lorenzo.
And this is E-Cole. What's up?
And we are Organic Lights. This is the Organic Light Show.
Yes, sir.
Hey, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode.
Yes.
To grow more with us, to expand your light a little bit more, expand our light a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And I say that specifically because we want to hear from you guys more. We want to be able to engage with you guys a lot more. Do not hesitate to send in your questions, right? Organic Light Show at gmail.com. Put the questions in the comment box on YouTube.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about that? Like, I put myself in their shoes because I imagine, like, a lot of the people who are listening actually know us.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think the percentage of people who actually know us are listening?
Almost 100. It's got to be almost.
Like, if you don't know us personally, and either of us, like, some of you don't know me, and then some others of you don't know him, but you know me, right? Like,
yeah.
So if any of you don't know either of us personally, please let us know. You are our first non-mutual listener, and we want to celebrate you because you're a real day one. Yeah. All the rest of them, it's obligation. For some of them, it's like I'm gonna support him. Obligation sounds bad, but it's like that's a part of your role at that point. If you're friends and my friend starts,
so you're saying it's relational.
It could be it's a blurred line. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
But you know, if someone doesn't know us, that's for sure. Like, that's money right there. But basically, I put myself in y'all's shoes, and I understand it could be a little weird if you know someone to ask them a question. So I wonder if that's an issue. Like, we get it, and it's like you like, we talk to you anyway. Like, on Sunday, why am I asking you a question on the podcast? I get it. It's just if it organically comes up, huh?
We've actually experienced that.
Someone asking us,
real
time. That was interesting. Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, I meant to. Yeah, so if you have questions like that, yeah, that's what we want. Because in person, I'm gonna call him out too, Dion last Wednesday was like, I was listening to the podcast, and you guys had this question, and then he goes on to talk about it there, and it's just the game we're playing now is that interaction in the comments and all that stuff helps to grow the podcast and grow our own ecosystem. Yeah. And so that's why we mention it a lot. It's because we know that this thing is a partnership. It's not just us talking to you. It's you guys talking back to us. And it's, a beautiful relationship. It's
equally important.
Yeah.
It's definitely equally important. A relationship is a two-way street.
Right.
And so, we're not here to teach you guys everything, because we don't know everything. We don't want to come off as we do either. Mm-hmm. And so excuse us if we seem kind of uber educated at times, but
yeah, sorry if my education is showing at times.
Yeah, we do try to speak from experience, from our experience, I should say. Yeah. And we have I wouldn't even call it a nasty habit. I think it's a really good habit too.
Yeah, it's one of the best habits you could have.
Yeah, is
to go off and sharing what you learned for the embetterment of the listener. Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you as the listeners out there have any type of rebuttal or reply or question needed for clarity or anything of that nature, never hesitate to put it in the comments or email us and let us know.
Yeah.
We definitely want the engagement and the interaction with you guys. We don't want to feel like, we're just talking to space out there.
Yeah, but we also recognize it's a process, and as we get more people, we'll get more comments. So I think if you genuinely don't have a question, that's fine. I'm thinking we probably won't keep bringing it up every week too, because we get it, and we trust that it'll happen. It'll happen. I can feel it, man. Like it's on the tip of some of y'all fingertips, and y'all want to type it. But so if we can offer this bridge, we'll do that. But we chilling, we appreciate what you guys are doing. Yeah,
it's no pressure at all. I think today is actually today can be a good day for expounding on some clips and seeing how they affect us, man.
Yeah. I mean, but before that, there was I told them last week. Well, let's see how many views we got, because
whatever it is, we have to multiply it times 50.
Why is that?
Because I said 75 of them were going to be mine,
but you didn't do it. You can't. Wow. Yeah, what you're doing is crazy right now. You definitely. Okay, look, 7. All right. Well, sorry guys. We were gonna have a whole episode about dreams. It was gonna be fire too. And maybe, you know what? 50 was a bit much. That's like more than we have followers. The reason why I said 50 is because you you were like, listen, this is strange. So it's best that we don't say it. So I'm like, all right, let me do a semi-realistic, semi-not realistic number.
So you made it unattainable. So you didn't.
Unattainable, but it also is obtainable if it was obtainable, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't. And so that's fine, what I say, if you get 100 likes, because I have been working on the song. I told you guys I started sharpening my pen a little bit, and I'm making some fun stuff, and I'm we'll see if y'all want to see it. Maybe we'll do the bar like 15 likes or something for this episode, or I don't know, or maybe just next week I'll share it regardless. Who knows?
Well, I'm also in the clear, because you said for 50 likes, I would have to tell you about my weirdest dream ever.
Right. So you're good. I'm clear. Unless they want to go crazy on the like button this week again.
Yeah, no, I'm not putting that back on it.
No, maybe our 100th episode, we're going to talk about your dreams, because now I'm interested. Now I want to know.
Yeah, no.
But it's like, think about how much you can help people, because we'll decipher your dream. Maybe other people are having weird dreams about, like, I don't know, noodle monsters or something. I don't know what your dreams are, but maybe that'll help them feel a little less.
Have you ever had a dream about a noodle monster?
Not a noodle monster, no.
Oh. I don't even know where that name came from, but that's pretty cool.
A
noodle monster.
Yeah. See, watch, you about to have a dream about it tonight. You see, this is what happens. You let it in, and
like cartoon character.
Yeah.
Made like a ramen cup.
Yeah, that just is like super caloric and monstrous sodium level, and
to like milkshake on what was that show?
Oh, with the super fry.
With the fry.
Their characters.
Yeah,
I forget, but
that was one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, it was a ghetto show, I think, if I remember. They were shooting people and stuff too, right? They're ghetto.
Who was
McDonald's.
It wasn't, because Fry was he was hard. But anyway.
Yeah. So we just wanted to start off with the update on that, because I'm a man of my word, and I said I would start writing. We would love to hear if you guys started any projects that you've been procrastinating on, because again, this is what this is about. We're on a journey together. We're on a organic journey together. And we would love to be sort of accountability partners. There's so much within us. There's so much potential, so many cool, beautiful, wonderful ideas within us. And we want to express those things and enjoy them while we're on this earth. So, yeah, let us know how that has gone for you guys. And then I got some hot bars for you next week. I think regardless, I'm just gonna at the end of the episode next week, we might have a guest, but I think still regardless, I'm gonna I'm gonna lay down some lyrics. I can't think of another word for it, but yeah, you guys should be excited.
You're afraid to say heat? You ain't gonna
I was just gonna say something corny, and I'm like, I can't say something corny right now.
Yeah, no.
So I might as well just not say nothing. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Wait till you become a dad. It just clicks.
I think I'm ready.
The whole realm opens up.
Yeah, dude. It's like you activate a new power you always
absolutely.
had. It's like, oh shoot. All right. Well, I want to. Do you have any any updates or anything? How's your week been going?
My week has been pretty awesome. I think that overall this week has been very enlightening. As far as opening up some areas of improvement that needs improving in my life, and I think also opening up some peaceful areas. I'm not gonna say did. I have been struggling a little bit with the loss of a good friend recently. He was a really dope dude, really talented, very genuine, really caring guy, and Tony, bro, we gonna always miss you, man. We're gonna miss you until we see you again, man. And I was looking forward to seeing you this summer, and I'm sure I'll feel you out there. But man, I was really looking forward to seeing you, bro. And so,
yeah,
thanks for everything, man. Seriously, all the good times, man, is definitely gonna be remembered and appreciated. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, sending our love to the family, friends. Yeah, suicide is catastrophic. It's and we know, we all, I'm sure, have been affected by it. Most of us in one way or another. It's super tragic. So yeah, sending our love. If I may, do you think, because this is kind of something I can speak on, is like the nature of the world today. And so I wonder if you think what happened with him is a common theme that's happening because of the times we're living in. Not simply because suicide has been up for a while in America, but more recently there's been just unbelievable fiction things happening, a lot of fear in the world. Do you think we're seeing that trend happening, or he had his own unique set of issues?
Not sure exactly what the issues were. And I still have yet to really talk to more than just a couple of people about it to confirm whether or not it was, actual suicide or whatnot. But one thing we all know for sure is that mental health is starting to become not just the elephant in the room anymore. Right. It's something that's out in the forefront, and we're all trying to figure out how to go about coming up with a worldwide resolution for it. You got jobs now actually giving people mental health days and school and stuff like that, which is, I think, is a step in the right direction. But I would love to see them come up with programs to actually help people versus just, we'll take a couple of days off. Like we're giving you permission to take a few days off. Because that's kind of how it comes off at being being the leader at my job. It doesn't feel like I'm at liberty to take time off when needed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when you get these PTO days, um, it feels like, oh well, because you used up all your days, you can never uh, take off until the next time you get this time off or whatever. Where it's almost like a controlling thing, you know.
Yeah.
And I just I don't operate like that at work. You know, I do. Obviously, if you got the time, use it. But if you don't have the time and it's very important, and I feel like it could possibly turn into something life threatening, I definitely am compassionate and empathetic enough to be like, you know, hey, just take the day off, go ahead and get yourself together, and I'll check on you. And I do. I follow up. I check on people, and I've actually reached out to a few people in the corporate arena and asked them, like, is there any way we can come up with some type of program that we can enroll people in, you know? Because people are seriously ready to crash out, bro. Like, it's serious. Like, they're talking about it in songs now all the time, and which is very influential, you know?
Yeah. And it's demonic.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it attacks the mind. All it takes is for a person to be either depressed or upset or anything like that, and not only do they become suicidal, but they'll become kamikaze like.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I want to take other people out too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more of an issue. I was just watching a news coverage on a guy, I think in Britain, going on a stabbing frenzy.
Mm-hmm.
And they reported that he had some mental health issues. The other side of it was like, oh, he's a terrorist. I don't know. Either way, people are lost. You know, newsflash, people are lost.
Yes.
But my thing is, like, especially now, like, to where even myself, like, I'm trying to get my bearings of, like, okay, what is real? Because 10 years ago, I didn't think aliens were real. I didn't think...
Really?
Not in, like, a real sense. Like, you could be like, yeah, they're out. But it's like, come on, like, for real. Like, people think God's real, but live, you know, however they want. They don't actually live as though it's, you know, it hasn't seeped into their being yet. And so, you know, the collapse of America seemed like that would never happen. You know, World War III, that would never happen. You know, the NBA shutting down because of this virus. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's impossible. These are omnipotent machines running in the media. They don't go down for nothing. The NFL getting shut down. What are you saying? That's not possible.
Yeah, that was a wild time of just what do we do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
People were really like twiddling their thumbs and trying to figure out how do I go about it. But then one of the good things is that you started to see the earth actually heal itself.
Oh yeah, because people staying inside. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
beautiful. Yeah.
That was one of the most awesome things I got a chance to witness, was just how the earth really is a living organism, you know?
Yeah. And so, and I think that's what naturally happens as we continue. Like, there is a perspective out there that I used to have, actually, where it's like you're in darkness, and so all this destruction seems meaningless. Like, all these things that we consider to be negative, there's no rhyme or reason in our mind. And so it just seems like we live in an antagonistic world where things are just supposed to be going wrong, and that's just what happens. But as you educate yourself more and live a bit longer, you find, no, there's something that led to that. And there's basic principles that everything revolve around, or everything is based in. And so as you're more aware of these principles, you see that, oh, the world war does sound like ultimate tragedy, but it's not. It's relative tragedy. And that tragedy creates the space for change. You know, it's not until sometimes, when we've talked about this on the individualistic level, it's not until we get to rock bottom that we turn around and actually start seeking God. I was just listening to a pastor the other day. He's like, God's not concerned about darkness because he knows that enough darkness will cause you to thirst even more for the light. And so if we could start viewing the chaos as a catalyst to get us closer to the highest ideal, which is God, to get us closer to reality, then, you know, we'll begin to see, oh, okay, this makes sense. And because you brought up, the tragedy in your friend's life, and what's been on my mind a lot is just the world. And it hit me differently today because I was talking to a lady and a friend, and she was like, her daughter told her, it's like, Mom, people are saying the world is ending. And for some reason, like, and I know her daughter too. For some reason, that hit me different when she said it, because it made it real. Because I've been screaming, at the top of my lungs, like, this could be it. The world's ending. But for some reason, it wasn't until I heard it from her that I was like, wow, so this is on other people's mind. Like, everyone else is struggling to grapple with reality right now, with, like, what's going on. Like,
I actually seen something in a comment. Somebody was saying, I'm gonna take a break from having fun to save my funds. And somebody was in the comments like, no, like, absolutely not. What if the world ended tomorrow? I'm going to be upset that I didn't have fun today. And I was like, just from the way that I am, I'm like, well, either way, what difference does it make? Like, blow your money. Let this person save. Like, either way, one of you are going to be right and the other one's going to be wrong.
And bro, and that's the ultimate conclusion. Because over these past couple of weeks, I've actually been, and I talked to you about this, I've been struggling with some heavy emotions, some heavy thoughts, and namely my mortality. And it's like we talk about these things, but there's a certain level of unconsciousness, and I'm actually studying this, like, as a culture, as a people, society itself is built in such a way to kind of overshadow death, to conquer death. We kind of live in this hierarchy society, and we chase after accomplishments and immortalization because of this deep-seated fear of annihilation. And so it runs deep. It's in our culture. And, to actually have a very conscious thought of, like, I am on the razor edge of reality. Like, one tilt that way, and I'm somewhere else, somewhere but here, right? And it's like, to really digest that, like, you could think about it at times, and it's like, okay, yeah, wow, that's interesting. And sometimes it fascinates me, because I'm like, I'm beyond this moment. Like, what is appearing before me is not the full picture, and I'm in some type of meat suit that will transition me into this holy meat. I'll call it holy meat suit. It's a holy meat suit that will help me transition into another reality. That's not my term. I can't take credit for that. But that's what it's our meat space suit. It's our space meat suit. And it's an incredible thing, though. It's a really cool little gig we got going on here. Like, mine can jump pretty high. Wow. Like, mine has a nice symmetry to it. I'm very appreciative of my meat suit, but that's just the reality. And so, but once you really stare death in the face, which is the idea of everything you see you will lose, or it not lose in a sense of, like, you never had it is the point, right? Like, right. We have these psychic attachments to where it's like, this is my computer, and everyone understands what that means. Like, he paid for it and stuff, but this computer belongs to the earth. This computer belongs to God. Like, nothing is absolutely ours. And
Not the land that you
nothing.
live on.
That, bro, that's why the Indians were like laughing at the pilgrims, because they're like, what do you mean you want to buy the land? Like the idea of buying land was absurd.
It still is.
And it's still, yeah, if you think about it, yeah, to own air. Like, what do you mean you own this airspace? It's
Yeah.
like, that shows how crazy we go with our concepts and the world, the castles we build in the sky and try to live in them. But basically, I got to the point where I was like, I like even the things I love, like my family, my friends, I can't hold on to it. And so at the end of it, I realized there just had to be another level of surrendering to where it's like, you can't hold on to it. And no matter how hard you try, like this is like, so even with, AI or World War III, whatever it might be happening, to simply resist is futile. To resist in an effort to cause change, that's different. But to simply be like, no, I'm in denial of what's happening, is like you're creating more suffering for yourself.
I think both are inevitable. I think, like, seriously, when you break it down, both are inevitable because you can't control the way people take in things or take on things. And when we start trying to figure out those types of ways to do that, we fall into the realm of manipulation in a way. And we have to be okay with accepting whatever people are and, however they take
Right.
on certain aspects of life. While we think that we're fixing a person, so to speak, we could be in a sense breaking them too.
Right.
And I've tried really hard to not force myself on people, or force my thoughts or my beliefs on people. I can love them into it, you know what I mean, by just being the example of what I want to see in the world.
Yeah, there's a quote that says, preach the gospel always and use words when necessary. It's one of my favorite quotes. And I guess I'm just saying, like, at the end of it, and as I laid out kind of a gloomy picture, so I do want to make sure I wrap it up with a little bit of positivity. Yes, people are going to do what they do, and I think that's a great point to bring up, and that's fine. Surrendering to that too is another level of surrender, right? It's like, people are going to do what they're going to do. But there's that nuance, because it's like, that doesn't mean you do nothing. Like, just because it's, the world is falling apart, or seems to be falling apart. We rarely get the full picture, by the way.
Obviously.
But but if we can accept that, but also be an agent of change, is a power position. And once I got to that point, there was so much peace.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know where I was at. I was like.
But it had to be a crazy time for you, though, right?
Bro, it was like. Yeah, I can't. It's like and this is what we hammer over the head. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. And I actually had this. I just like this analogy. I view us as the heart, the metaphorical heart of reality, because as the heart pumps life into the body and continues this pumping, likewise do we pump reality into our environment. Here's what I mean. Like, I live in a nice home. I was blessed. I can't take any credit for it. I just got lucky. Not lucky. Everyone's blessed. Whatever. Everyone has their ups and downs. Let me put it that way. It's not all rainbows just because you have a big house. But besides that, I've been living there so long, I've lost sight of its beauty. Mm-hmm. And it's not until people come around like, bro, like, your house is amazing. And I'm like, I guess it, yeah, it is. And what I do now is, like, I sit and I put my attention on the beauty of it. And as I feed more energy into that thought, suddenly it starts to blossom, and literally the dimension of beauty of my home opens up, to whereas before it was unconscious. I'm like, it's just my home. I've been here over 10 years, whatever. Now I'm like, no, let me sit with it. and watch as a new dimension opens. Likewise, when you're contemplating mortality, it's like the more energy you're putting into that, the more it expands in your reality and it becomes palpable. It's like I could feel in this moment the strangeness of it because of the context of death. Just like how everything has a shadow behind it, all life has the shadow of death behind it. And to not acknowledge that is to have kind of a sleepwalking way of living. But I guess the ultimate point is like there's so much peace once, because at the end of it, again, I got to the point where I realized, oh, I'm trying to hold on to something that can't be held on to. I'm trying to fight against what is happening. And the beautiful thing is, once you accept that, yes, we're in strange times. Yes, there are things happening that you would have never thought was possible. It's going to get even crazier. We want to show you a clip. We're going to end with a clip on Joe Rogan Experience talking about AI. Yes, these things are crazy, and it's hard to even comprehend reality. It's changing every day, it seems. But for one, surrendering and accepting, and then two, understanding that there is a larger story, right? There is a highest ideal, or there is a creator that's involved in all this, and that we can trust that we're on a ride. You know, we can't and that's the tragic thing about suicide. You can get off the ride, but you know, you're already gonna get that home visit at the end of it, you know? So from that perspective, it's like we might as well just go for the ride and not let fear dominate us simply because of what we don't know. Don't let the unknown dominate your mind and cause fear. Let's stay rooted, I guess, will be my message. And I've just found a lot of peace in being rooted in, you know what? I
think in a weird way, mental illness also has its pluses, right? And this is what I mean by this. Is because it helps you, it literally makes you let go of what fear is. I think for anybody to do anything inwardly to themselves, to harm themselves, you have to have abandoned fear of what may happen, or what people may think, or what this might look like.
You don't think they could do it scared?
I think in the beginning, but I think once a person has made their mind up to mutilate their body in any type of way, they've let go of fear, because the mutilation to the body helps them feel. You know what I mean? Like, I've actually had someone say that, they would just go do something to themselves when they start to feel a certain type of way. And I asked them just to confirm what I thought about it. Like, did that make you feel alive again? And they were like, in a way, yeah, because they were numb. And so any type of hurt that would come would send them right back to that numbness, or that dark place. I've been there. I've been numb before. I'm not saying that I've self-mutilated or anything like that. But maybe I have in a different aspect, mentally. And you start to think less of yourself. And I still struggle with that, thinking less of myself, turning down compliments and stuff like that. And I call, I rename it or reshape it or put a mask over it called humbleness or humility. It's just because after hearing a thing for so long, you know what I mean, you start to eventually believe it, especially if more than one person says it. You know what I mean? And this is the trick the enemy plays on us all, is he works strategically, and so he works systematically through other people, and you know, eventually the thing will start echoing over time, and then all it takes is one time for you to start believing it, and it's crept in, it's penetrated, you know, and it only takes, you know, just a drop before it starts to spread like a cancer.
Yeah, if yeah, specifically if you're putting energy into it instead of requalifying it with the truth.
Correct.
Yeah, so it takes root for sure, and it can spread and become the means in which you live your life is based off of these perceptions and beliefs. And yeah, it's tragic, and I really hope, you know, this is coming off as, I don't know if we've gotten fully on the encouraging part yet, but I hope it is, because, you know, and I would say this is just the only other element is like, at a certain point, as you have a certain level of acceptance, you get peace. Because you said, let's go back to this. You said they let go of fear. What do you don't think that they've picked up good qualities in the end? You just saying that they no longer, it's a strange space where they don't fear, but they are still in darkness.
Absolutely. I think that what happens is, it's like they say that the one of the final stages to committing suicide is joy, like pure joy, like, and the releasing of personal property, stuff like that. You know, like, you'll seriously not know, because this person is so happy, and they're happy because they've come to terms with the choice that they've made. And in that moment of a certain type of maybe euphoric mentality, they've totally let go, right?
Yeah.
And so what I mean in a good way, or plus, is they figured out how to let go of fear. And not saying that they used the tool in the correct way, but they figured something out, because we still operate out of fear. Like, most of the time we're operating out of fear. When we cook, we use mittens, not saying that we shouldn't, but saying because out of fear of me burning myself. Like, that's how we learned how to cook, was out of fear. Hey, be careful with that knife. Hey, this is what fire does to you. We teach we're taught by the cautions, you know, versus just, but in essence, we're taught how to respect the things that can hurt us, you know. But in learning how to respect it, you eventually fear it. You know, it's a reverence, so to speak, of, so fire can burn you, and so you have respect for the fire, but only because you fear it over time, because you have been burned once or twice or whatever the case may be, and you know what that feels like, and you fear it happening again because it doesn't feel good.
Yeah. I think that's the tricky thing about fear, though, too, is like, on one level, you can have relative peace about something, but that doesn't mean that, because I think on the back end, fear is what led you to that place. Mm-hmm. And so to kind of paradoxically have this sort of freedom, but still completely bound by darkness and fear, is a strange place to be. I think it actually is a form of insanity to be self-destructive is a form of insanity. And so, yeah, I guess I was just curious about your perspective on that. But we can end off on this interesting video. We might skip through or just show the first part. But yeah, he's basically talking about the Matrix. These are bigger things, because this episode really has what it has turned into is like a what do they call it? Not a heat check, but just like to see where we're at. You know, a temperature check. I really love that we're able to kind of bring up some of these things that a lot of people are dealing with, but maybe aren't talking about.
Yeah, taboo subjects.
Yeah, it's just difficult subjects. Yeah, in general of with the suicide, but also the way of the the way that the world is spinning right now.
Yeah, I meant to say something about that.
Go ahead.
What, bro? What if? And this is just me in my own world of imagination. So don't mind me. But
I'll try.
what if? What if the world is so obsessed with being in control that we create another world because we can't control the one we're in?
Create another world. Well, I think we're doing that in a way with technology.
Yeah,
and
that's what
virtual
I mean.
reality.
Like, I
Okay.
think that because we've been trying to figure out this world for so long and we can't control it, so to speak, or felt like we've gained a bit of control over it to the point to where now we can alter it, and so here, let me create this imaginary world to where we can be whatever we want to be. We don't have to be what people tell us that, these are the options to be. We can be whatever we want to be. Let's create a new reality. Let's create a virtual reality. Let's create AI. Let's create things that can think on their own,
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, at the root of all this is unconsciousness. And that someone, I think there was a poster or something with everyone with the Google or the Apple, I think, Pro Vision, their VR headset thing that came out. And it said, like, anywhere but here, which means, like, we'll be anywhere but in actual reality.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the predicament we're in, is that we understand ourselves to such a small degree, and understand by nature of that reality to such a small degree that we're seeking to escape the inescapable. You're in it. You are it, actually. What you're trying to escape is yourself. And that's what happens when we do any type of medication or any escapism activities, is we're escaping ourselves, which is insanity. It can't be done. And so
we do that a lot with moving. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I apologize. We do that a lot when you see people say, well, I'm just going to move to a different state.
Yeah.
I can start fresh there.
Yeah.
Well, all you're really doing is trying to create a new identity.
Yeah. Unless it's strategic. I would say most of the time, yeah, it's like that. But I just heard recently.
Career opportunity wise, yeah. Absolutely.
Career. And also, I just heard another perspective on that, which, is both can exist, where they had a loss in the family and they had the money and the whole family moved to a different country for a little while. And it's like, yeah, in that sense, it can help you kind of get a new perspective on life, to not be trapped into sorrow. But a lot of people, I agree, it's like, I have problems here. Yeah, let me just move over here and act like they don't exist anymore.
It's out of desperation. Like, they're just, well, it's got to be better somewhere else. And then you move somewhere else and you find here, there.
Bro, and that's really what's at the bottom of this. I hope just two things that are clear is, like, you can't change the nature of reality, and also you wouldn't want to, I think, are the two things. And as we evolve consciously, as we go through this more of an in-depth process of the renewal of our mind that the scriptures talk about, we begin to see that, oh, the world is actually perfect. I am the problem, like Gandhi said, be the change you want to see.
Absolutely.
Michael Jackson, the man in the mirror, Billie Eilish, maybe I'm the problem. You guys weren't expecting a Billie Eilish reference there. But it's like, yeah, once we realize, oh, it's my own misperception of reality that is in turn causing more problems in reality. Because again, I'm pumping things. I'm a heart. So I pump myself into the world. I pump my ignorance, my destructive habits, my anger. I pump all these things into the world. And as soon as we turn the faucet and get in line with the highest ideal, again, get in line with God, we realize, one, everything is perfect. And so, two, you wouldn't want to change it. And so you just go for the ride.
And I was just going to say that, like, he made everything good.
Yeah.
in its origin. I mean, I think we've said this before. You know, everything that God created is good.
Yeah.
You know, we taint it, we pervert it, we
Exactly.
take it and manipulate it to become something of what is it? What's the term I'm looking for? Self, not self gratification, but we gain.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for our own benefit.
Yeah, and I think that when you do that, just like this land thing that we talked about, you can't own any of the land. Like there's no owning land. So there is times where we're gonna be fruitful and multiply on this plot of land or whatever, but it's all vanity. I mean, at the end of the day, there's gonna be this is our turn on this piece of earth, and then when we're gone, it's somebody else's turn.
Yeah, we got to give it back. Everything we have, we got to give it back.
Yeah, and so we have to learn how to be okay. The more we're okay with who we are, and the more at peace we become within ourselves, the more at peace we can become with the external things of the world and the people in it,
Yeah.
Because we approach things according to how we see ourselves.
Exactly.
And if you're not feeling very good about yourself, you're going to attack everything.
Bro, and yes, and this is what really cannot be overstated, is that we're operating off of a paradigm in which we're focused on external fulfillment, and we're doing it to such a beautiful, not beautiful, but just a high intelligent level of where we are the masters of seeking external fulfillment. And it's a complete 180 of reality. God says that you bring peace into situations. You don't receive it. You have to give it in order to receive it. And so who we are is not just this noun, this stagnant, immovable, just object or unchangeable object. We are in constant motion. I mean, to the cell, on a cellular level, we're just always in movement.
Yeah.
And so we're energy. We're giving something at all moments. And so if you're not at peace, you're giving the stress you're existing in. People can feel it. If you're nervous, if you're stressed out, people can actually pick up on your energy. And so, yeah, that just goes to show how much more important self-healing is. If you want to know what you can do most to help humanity in this time is to heal yourself, is to focus on your own drama and your own false perceptions. And on top of that, because we talk about perfection a lot, and I want to be clear, there's two different definitions of perfection. One is to not have any flaws. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what we're talking about when we say you're perfect. The second definition is wholeness. To be whole is to be perfect. That's what you are. You are complete as you are. You were created complete. You're created thereby perfect. And our journey here is to realize the perfection. Our journey is not to create perfection. Our journey is not to cause any ultimate change and to try to control reality. That's the issue. We're not here to control reality. We're here to learn from it, to be in partnership with it, to give to it, and ultimately to transcend it.
Yeah. I mean, when you realize that you're one of one, that every single person on this planet, and we're up to what, nearly 8 billion people on this planet, or more, that there's 8 billion one of ones, and when we realize that and stop trying to cookie cut people into the way that we want things in order to make us feel better about ourselves, you start to be able to accept a lot of things that you didn't think you could, right?
Yeah.
You start to be able to, in essence, quote unquote, let go of certain things, and in the release of these feelings of need to, hold on tight to a specific type of reality that you're trying to create, you start to realize that none of that stuff matters.
Yeah, bro.
Like
Yes.
none of that matters. You start to
Not
really,
from that position.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it
yeah.
matters when it comes second. Like if we put that first, that's
Yeah,
when it's vanity.
That's a good way to
But
put
yeah,
it.
when it's second, that's when it's because you're supposed to enjoy life, right?
Absolutely.
But second, like first is like I'm connected to God, first things first, and from that connection, from that beautiful relationship, I enter into life.
Absolutely.
And give God
We
to life.
never read the instruction manual, bro. And because we feel like we know the instruction manual best, and we still approach things in life that way. You got to put together a bookshelf, right? And this got to be simple.
This
and
is
then
men though, right?
Yeah,
Like,
this is women too,
Women
bro.
too?
Like
Okay.
when I tell you, like it's
Everyone.
I can't even name the person, but I've literally seen people just decide to go from, okay, I'm gonna follow the instructions for the first piece, and then I'm just gonna go off my own understanding, right? And in life, we all have done that. You know, we've tried to experiment with putting it together to the best of our knowledge, and yet we lack so much of it, or we have an abundance of it but no wisdom to apply it.
Yeah, too much.
You know,
Yeah.
and so, to end, so we can go into the clip. I would like to be able to come into grips with knowing that it's okay.
Yeah.
Overall, like it's okay, and that's the approach I've been taking lately. Is it's okay, like it's all good. Like I'm cool. I'm good with everything.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of how a thing starts or how a thing finishes, I have to be okay with it because it's for my own good. You know, that I learn from these different things.
Yeah. We have to trust the process, and that was my final point too. That's really all I want to communicate today is like to have enough courage to realize you don't have the control over life, because that takes a lot of courage. Because all of our life we've been appearing to be in control. We do this, we tell someone to do that, they do it, we go, but it's like, by whose power are you doing that? And so once you get to the end of this dark valley, where you realize, okay, I'm not in control, peace comes to embrace you immediately, and love warms you and feeds you, and you realize, okay, everything is okay, like, and I can't control it anyway. And then I begin to be able to actually comprehend what's going on. Now I'm not in resistance to what's happening. I'm able to have compassion now instead of judgment. Now I'm able to have just wisdom instead of just knowledge. Now we have more command over these spiritual fruits and ideals once we are no longer in resistance to life. Everything is connected. So there's no such thing as being resistant to life and being accepting towards God. It's all one big machine. Sorry. But we go on. Actually, we'll continue that conversation, talking about these things, the world, as this podcast goes on. I think more than ever, this is an important time to let our voices be heard and to have these discussions, because when we're in the unknown that we make a lot of mistakes and we end up, causing more problems.
That's true. But I also think, because I'm always trying to see the best side to things. I also think that it's a benefit to being in the unknown, because some beautiful things have been created in the unknown, right? You're talking about God created the earth in the unknown. God, created us, and because when we got here, things were unknown. Of course, He knows all, but we're still in awe of how we even came into existence, of how all of this even started. And so, there's beauty in the unknown, but it has to be wielded responsibly.
Yeah, and I guess the issue is the unknown. It turns out to be the epitome of fear. That's how we genuinely treat the unknown, is we're afraid of it.
And that's why I say, you have to wield the unknown responsibly.
To be comfortable be comfortable with not knowing.
Yeah, yeah, and knowing that, the, be comfortable with not knowing, but yet knowing that
Knowing that you don't know.
right, but we have to absolutely, again, learn how to accept
Yeah.
the unacceptable. What we see as unacceptable, because
Right.
we look at things as success or failure. Like, it's either one or the other, win or lose, gain or lose. Like, all of these things are just wins and losses in our book, and we've been conditioned to believe that because we lose possession of a thing, that we are now missing something, right? Or now there's this void or whatever, and we have to fill it. We have to hurry up and fill it with something, because now I feel like, oh, I'm a failure because I no longer have this thing, or how will I survive now without this person, or,
Yeah.
and so we have to learn that there is a time for everything. There is literally a time for life, a time for death, a time for joy, a time for sorrows. But
Yeah.
in that time, like, we have to be able to process things correctly. And in the sense of process, I mean, be willing to come into acceptance.
Yeah. Yeah. And bro, you hit on something that, I'm thinking maybe we'll start off the next episode with this clip, because I want to continue this discussion, and this clip goes into that, just the state of the world. But I want to piggyback off of that, and how you said we fear that we'll actually lose something of value. And this is the whole issue with attachments, is that we're placing value in things that we can't keep. And so we're working against ourselves in the end. In the beginning, we think, oh, no, it's fine. This feels so good. It's just like with all relationships. It's like, you probably shouldn't be in that relationship, but it just feels so good on the front end. Or you probably shouldn't eat this, but it just tastes so good.
It's just content.
Yeah. And it's like, well, on the back end, there's the bloating, there's the fights, there's the, sluggishness, there's the all the pain and regret in the relationship. I'm going back and forth between the
Loss
food
of
and the
time,
relationships. There's so much destruction in the wake of ignorance.
Yeah,
that might be a double entendre, because in the wake of something, that's like in the after effect, right? Like in the wake of this moment. How how people use that?
In the moment, though. It wouldn't be. Oh,
it wouldn't be after.
Hindsight, no.
In the wake of something. Okay.
Yeah, it'd be real time.
Okay, but in the wake of ignorance, that's a double entendre. Well, whatever. Okay, but anyways, yeah. So as we wake up and make the right decision, or once we realize that, and bro, this is what Jesus is talking about. It's like, because honestly, bro, when I was going through this moment of like considering losing everything, instead of just being like in resistance, because I knew fundamentally, I knew there's nothing to fear. And so if I'm feeling fear, then I must be thinking wrongly. So I trusted that impulse, and I went down this journey. And the toughest one was my family. The toughest one was being at my mom's funeral in my mind, and holding that at the same time as holding gratitude towards life. And I'm like, how can I be grateful for something that seems to be leading me to such sorrow? And I know that that's not the full picture. There's sorrow and joy, but there's undeniable sorrow, it seems. And so what I realized is it's impossible to lose something you never had. And so the question is, what do you have that's you can't lose? That's God.
Facts.
And God is the overwhelming, the overflowing of the well that never runs dry. It's full.
That's why we call him the source.
The source. He's the source. So if you're able to break it down, what you really feel like you're losing when you lose a parent is you feel like you're losing love. You feel like you're losing joy that's been projected onto them, right? Because when they leave the room, we don't feel like any difference. But they're not in your presence. They're not here right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something about, when they're gone forever, we automatically assume like, I've lost that connection basically to God. And it's impossible to lose any amount of God.
Yep. Because anything that we feel like we lose, he's the source of it anyway.
Right.
And so you lose your mom, and so you feel like you've lost the only source of nurturing in your life, you know, but not realizing that God nurtures you just even better than your mom did, you know.
And it's the God in her that was doing the nurturing.
Absolutely.
In the
He
first
was doing
place.
it through her.
Yes.
Yeah. And so we have a skewed way of perceiving life itself, you know, because there was plenty of times where Jesus was pretty much trying to steer us to let go of all the things that we thought were valuable, right? Told the rich young ruler, go sell all your stuff, give it away, then come follow me, you know. And he left with the smug look on his face because, dude, you talking about my riches, like this is what I'm known for.
Yeah.
But you're having an identity crisis right there on the spot, and you're not even in the know of it. You know, are you what you possess?
Right.
You get what I mean? Like, are you seriously your status? Does your status define you, or do you define your status? You know, and the thing is that value, anything of value was given its value.
Yes. Yeah.
It was never valuable to begin with because we put the value in it. So all value comes from us. You know, that's just like, they say black people are the biggest consumers in the world. We're the greatest consumers in the world, right? But yet we still have yet to realize the power that comes with being that entity, you know, that consumer, that's a superpower, so to speak, in the world of created value. You know what I mean? Certain things can't exist. And so the attachments can't necessarily exist. And I hope I'm getting this right. The attachment to a thing can't exist without our grasp or our value being put into it.
Right. Yeah. And so this is our power of symbolic projection. And what it is we like you're saying, we determine the value, which just means like we have this symbolism of value or this idea. We have a very real concept inside of our mind that is what we call value. And then we project it onto things. So like you have a t-shirt, that's just a blank t-shirt, $10. You put the red letter Supreme on it, $100. Now, technically, there's just a bit more ink on the shirt. How could it possibly cost $100? It's the value we're projecting onto it. So once we realize that we are these beings that are able to project value onto things, we should be questioning how we're using that gift. And it's like, are we using it in the right way?
That responsibility we were just talking about, you know, and that's all I had. I didn't want to cut you off.
Yeah, and these are real questions, and this is what happens as we wake up more and more and see, I'm, like they say, we don't see the world as it is, we see it as we are. And so we really find that I am in my own way. I know that there's all these things that that seem to be real danger and real obstacles to life and real problems. But in reality, there are no problems. There are only things that happen, and we perceive and call it a problem.
Yeah.
Right? Because of our limited perspective on life.
Yes, and we handle others in that same way. Also, the same way we handle God.
Yeah.
You know, we keep putting limits on a limitless God. You know,
right?
And
right.
He's so vast. He's so, you know, broad. He's so deep. You know, and because we see ourselves as capped off or limited people, that we limit our
Yeah.
relationship with him as well, you know. And
We make an idol out of ourselves and project it onto God.
yes, absolutely. Also, I believe that we mishandle our relationship, you know, and we mishandle a lot of our relationships in real time, in real or IRL in real life, you know, if they even use that anymore. But
Yeah, they do. Some nerds still do. No, I'm kidding.
but we mishandle the relationships, you know, whether it's marriages or friendships or you know work relationships and things of that nature. We mishandle so many different things and when it comes to relationship because we approach it from a limited mindset, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely true. So I think that's the silver lining is really in these times, there's no need to fear. Do not fear because the world has been overcome, and it's been overcome by a man named Jesus. That's my Spoonerism coming out. And following his uh, laws, you know, and he said they asked him, it's like, what is the greatest action I can do on this planet? What's the best thing I could do? And he's like, love.
That's it.
And once we understand that love isn't anything if it's not action, if it's not moving towards something for the betterment. So love looks like getting to know yourself more. Love looks like self-awareness at times.
Yeah,
Love looks like accepting others,
absolutely.
you know?
He tells us to love our neighbors as we would love ourselves. And that's probably the biggest reason why the world lacks so much of it, is because we lack self-love.
Yeah.
We, again, approach things in the way we see ourselves. Could you imagine, and we're going to be ending here, but could you imagine if everybody in the world decided to give love
Right.
to each other, the world would be all taken care of.
Yeah.
Like,
Problem solved.
absolutely.
Perceived problem solved.
Yeah, because the only problem was that we felt like there was a problem.
Yes,
to begin
bro.
with.
That's the paradox. And that's the thing with prayer, as we're about to go into prayer. It's like I think we will greatly benefit from this shift in thinking to where to believe we already have it. We like God isn't still in the kitchen cooking up stuff, waiting to give it to us. It's like, no, he's already prepared the meal. He's already laid it out. He invited you to the gathering. It's just about us going there.
Facts.
And being in his presence. And so to be like, you know what? To want something is to perceive you don't have it at the end of the day. And so to be like, Lord, just like they say, if you're chasing after women, you're hinting that they're running from you, right? To chase is to not have. I don't chase, I attract, right? Because it's already here, and I know I just need to be in alignment. So that's my message. The honestly, the key is acceptance. The key is love. The key is trust. And guys, I'm telling you, for any of us who are out there who are struggling with fear and uncertainty in these times, depression, all these things, the answer is truly in alignment. And I love that that's our theme
that's
at
our
church.
theme, yeah.
It's truly alignment. Like, he set it up. He made the rules. Let's get in alignment. Let's love ourselves. Let's get to know ourselves. Let's ask God for help, and trust that everything will
Absolutely.
be okay.
You don't paint the car before you make the car.
Yeah, that's true. There's a process.
Yeah, absolutely. And so,
Yeah.
you want to?
Sure. I think you've been
I've
praying
done
the
it like
last
the
few.
last two. Yeah.
All right. Dear Source, dear Heavenly Father, dear Creator of all, we thank you for your presence. We thank you for the ability to know you in this way.
Yes.
The ability to love you in this way, to worship, to choose to love you and to worship. Like, what a gift. And we thank you. We thank you for your perfection, your perfect plan, your guidance, your love. We thank you for all these things that are completely surrounding us in every moment. We pray that we continue to be more sensitive to the truth, more sensitive to reality. Lord, let these trying times be the catalyst that brings us to your feet, that brings us to the throne room, that causes us to go back home like the prodigal son. For any who are straying away at this moment, let not the depression or the fear or the false evidence appearing to be real, let that not dictate our actions. And Lord, I pray that we'll continue to stay humble and to remember that there's a part of us that is working against us. And so our greatest weapon is surrendering and to acknowledge that we are not in control, and that if left on our own, we will ruin things more and more. And so we give you a new yes. We thank you, we praise you, and we say it is so.
Amen.
Amen. Awesome. Yeah. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, man, this was really healthy. Something beautiful came from something dark, you know.
Yeah.
And so, once again, man, I just, bro, I love you. I love you too, bro.
Yeah.
You know, I love all of y'all. And I know that sounds kind of cliche or whatnot, but I really mean it. Like, my heart truly goes out to each and every one of you. And if I could give more love than I've been giving, I'm definitely gonna pray and find out how I can do it, because that's the one thing I felt like my whole life that we're all missing. It's just pure love, you know, acceptance of who we are, and just really just starting to put more of our energy and our power into the solution instead of the problem, instead of just pointing out issues.
Yeah.
And so,
and going with the flow.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so thanks, bro, for today, man. I appreciate this.
Yeah, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
And there's so much peace in that as well, to know that others are with you. And so, yeah, we want to make sure that's clear. We're extending, you know, our services to you. This is why we do this podcast.
Yes.
Is because we recognize the need, and we recognize that this is what, you know, being all a part of one race is about, is that we're all on the same journey.
Yeah.
You know, that's a double entendre too there. It's just slipping out now that I'm rapping again. but yeah.
I definitely want to extend myself to everyone out there that's watching or listening. If you feel like you don't have anyone to talk to, obviously I'm going to tell you talk to God. But if you feel like you need a person to talk to, an ear to listen, just a presence, feel free to hit us up, you know, and we'll be that for you. Obviously, I'm not going to put my personal phone number out here for the world, but I definitely will tell you to put it in put that you would like for me to contact you in the comments, that you know, and these things, and we'll definitely be in contact with you, or at least I know I will, as soon as I see it, you know. This is real, and so
yes,
I'm definitely going to.
Sorry, wow.
I'm definitely going to handle this sensitively, and so my concern is with the rest of the world as well as myself. You know, we all need each other to survive. And so don't hesitate to hit us up and let us know if you're in need. And so as we get up out of here, my name is Lorenzo.
I'm E. Cole.
We'll definitely be looking forward to hearing from E. Cole next week.
Yes, sir.
But together we are Organic Light, and this is the Organic Light Show.
Stay smooth.
Peace.